you been wanting to change your life? Have you been wanting to make some major changes, but you have been afraid to? And instead of deciding to change, you have decided to wait. You've decided to wait for things to change themselves. You've decided to wait for that lucky break, but somehow that lucky break never came. I know that change is scary. Challenging the status quo is scary. But you know what else is scary? Living a life that makes other people happy, even when that is not what makes you happy. Unfortunately, many of us fall into this trap. The thing about change is that it is constant. It happens whether we want it or not. We are not the same as we were last year. We have changed. Things around us have changed. Probably not everything, but some things. Staying in a job just because you think it's secure doesn't guarantee you that you won't be laid off next month. Staying in a relationship which is not working because you're afraid of being alone won't make you happy. Staying in a place which doesn't offer the opportunities you're looking for is probably not the best option for someone who is looking to grow and thrive. I'm telling you all of this because I've been afraid of making changes, especially major changes in my life. And I've seen a lot of people around me who have been afraid of changing, even when they have the potential and the capacity to do so. I'll tell you the story of one of my friends. He has been working for one and the same company for more than 15 years. Although he has not been very happy at his job, he has been doing it out of a habit because he's just so used to it. He's so used to the office, he has become friends with his colleagues, and he has just accepted it as part of his life. He had to commute more than 2 hours a day, and often he had to work overtime to satisfy his company requests. He didn't get to spend enough time with his family and friends, and he has been wanting to change his job for a while, but he has been so afraid to do so. Until one day, all of a sudden, he was made redundant. They basically told him that they don't need a person on his position. The company was restructuring, and they apparently told him that he was not needed anymore. And then my friend was forced to make that change, to make the change that he has been wanting to make, but has been so afraid to. He started looking for a new job. He started going for interviews. And what happened is he landed a job much quicker than he thought. Despite his disbelief in himself, he found a job, a much better job that pays more, that offers a better benefits package. He enjoys what he does much more now. He's so much happier. He gets to spend more time with his family. And you know what is the best part? His work is 15-minute walk from his house. And my friend couldn't believe that he has waited for so long to make that change because it was not as scary as he thought, and things turned out for the better. The moral of the story is that we don't have to wait for circumstances to force us to make the change that we've been wanting to make. We can start making that change now. It might not be easy, but it is all possible. Usually when we plan a change, when we get prepared for it, things get better. And even when things get worse and they don't turn out the way we hoped for, ask yourself, how much effort would it cost you to get back to your old way of living? Usually not too much. If you never go for what you want, you may end up wondering what if and regretting that you lost your chance of changing. You lost your chance of gaining new life experiences. Change is a part of life. Throughout the years since I was a teenager, I've moved a lot. I've moved to different apartments, to different cities, even to different countries. I have changed different jobs. I've ended different relationships. This is just how my life has gone. And along the way, I've learned a few things that help me to overcome my fear of change, and I hope that they can help you too. Whenever you're about to make a change, especially if you're about to make a major change in your life, spend some time thinking about the pros and cons of making that change. What would that change give you? What would you gain from making that change? And what would that change take away from you? If the pros are more than the cons, you should probably go for that change and make it happen. If the cons are more than the pros, perhaps it is not the right time to make that change. Or perhaps you just need to spend more time preparing for it and feeling ready. But one personal tip, you will never feel 100% ready to make a change. And you don't have to. You get ready by moving. You get ready by taking action and starting the change, despite your fear. Because the best way to overcome our fears is to face them. When we face our fears, they tend to slowly disappear. Another thing that really helps me to overcome my fear of change is making small changes on a regular basis. For example, challenge yourself. Go on another route. from home to work. Go to a different restaurant with your friends. Start a new hobby. Travel to a place you've never been before. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Each change, each success achieved helps you to build confidence, and that helps you to build courage when facing bigger changes in the future. And if you're about to make a major change in your life, try to break it down into small steps. This will help you to progress faster on your goal and not feel overwhelmed by it. Ask yourself, what is the first step that you can make to start working towards that goal of yours? I feel like too many of us focus on things that are outside of our power, especially when it comes to making changes. Instead of focusing on potential outcomes which are out of your reach, focus on actions within reach, like researching options, planning and preparing emotionally, mentally, and physically. Then, when decisions need to be made, there is a less chance that you would have a panic reaction. We cannot change the weather. We cannot influence the economy. We cannot change how other people feel about us or what they do. But we can change how we react. We can decide to make different choices. We can decide to take different actions. Focus on the things which are within your control, darling, and this will really help you to make your changes faster than ever. Be extremely patient. I know it's not easy, but we have to be. If you really want to make a change, we need to remember that change is a process, it is not a single moment. We tend to value the outcomes more than the journey. And a journey is not often a short and pleasant trip. It can be long and tough at times. Any transition will likely require a lot of patience and practice, and accepting that it may take a little while to settle into a new way of life, especially when you're making changes to the way you live, when you're changing your habits or what you do. Remember that time is on your side. Becoming accustomed to new things is always harder at first, but time itself will help. Notice and reflect the progress as it happens to make yourself feel better along the way. A few years ago, during the pandemic, we were all forced to change. We had to adapt our way of living. It was not easy, but many of us made it through the pandemic and we came out stronger. The thing is that we don't have to wait for circumstances to press us to make a change. We can make the changes that we want now. I know that nobody likes to think about it, but nobody knows how little or long time we have left on this planet. The older I get, the more I find myself thinking about the choices I make in terms of how I want to spend the rest of my life. I know that this is not an easy perspective to take, but it can be bracing. And when your nerve is failing, it can give you the courage to actually make a change. Are you afraid of making major changes to your life? Maybe you want to move to a new city, but you cannot find the courage to go. Or maybe you want to quit that job that has been wearing you down. Or end that relationship that hasn't been quite working. Or maybe you even want to start a new business. And yet, something has been holding you back. But you know what, darling? You can free yourself and start acting despite your fear. You can overcome fear through action, step by step. You don't have to do everything all at once, but you can start taking the first steps towards your goal. What change are you going to work towards now? Let me know in the comments below. If you struggle to believe in yourself, to put yourself first, to set boundaries, check out my other videos. I'm sure they can be helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye!